welcome to another episode of GemmaDarlingDaily. I'm your host Danielle, and I just want to thank everyone that's coming back week after week to watch my podcast. I never thought I'd even have one subscriber, so thank you so much. And if you're new to watching the podcast, I hope you like what you see. Today's not going to be a very long podcast because I just don't have much to show. And I'm really sorry about that. I have a lot of projects I want to start, but I've been trying to finish some because, I mean, what's the fun of knitting if you never end up with an FO? Right? Okay. So, I think last podcast I had some problems with my lips matching up with my voice, and it was really annoying. And I'm looking at it taping now, and it's doing the same thing. So I'm really sorry if that bothers you. I'll try to fix that for next week. All right, let's jump right into it. My scarf blanket. You know that I'm in love with my scarf blanket. And I not only bought a bunch of new colors for it, I added 2. And I put it back on the smaller cord because I could not take the long cord. I was just pulling it along, and it was so annoying. I just put it on a 29-inch cord, and it's a 60-inch blanket, and it's all right there. Don't have to pull it along. Because, I mean, with the big needles, even if they're metal, you get drag, and, you know, I mean, who likes knitting with drag? I mean, yeah, your stitches don't fall off your needles, which is a plus, but who likes knitting with drag? So, let's see, what did I put in? This week I was starting to put in the Toxic Oreo last time. Okay, that's this color. This. Look at it. Oh, the colors in it. Oh. And then I found that MADELINETOSH makes all these bulkies, and they're gorgeous. Look at this. This right here. It's called Cactus Flower. It has purples and reds and magentas, and I think if I had found it first, the whole blanket would be made out of this. It's so soft. So soft. So, I mean, I should probably wait to go into acquisitions until later. But these are the other ones that I found for it. I can't even wait to put them in it. So, there's this one and this one. I think that's it. I mean, look, how gorgeous is this? Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. And this is the Mill Pond colorway. And this is my new favorite yarn. And I'll be talking about what I'm doing with it later. This is called Whiskey Barrel. It's beautiful. It's just this really, really tonal brown. And I just can't really wait to knit up with it. So that's going to be a good time. So I got those 3. And then, I mean, I was on JimmyBeansWool.com, which has a lot of yarn. So if you're ever looking for a sweater quantity of something, you know, sometimes it's hard to find that at your local yarn store. So I usually order a sweater quantity. Well, I'm going to be making a sweater. So I order that from these websites. And, you know, I don't remember a lot of their names. I really need to start writing things down for the show notes. But then after I find what I need, of course, you have to go look around. And of course, me being the yarnaholic that I am, I find so much stuff I want. I found this. This is MALABRIGO. MALABRIGO. And it's RASTA. And I couldn't really tell if it would be too thick for the blanket when I was online. I try to figure out per 100 grams how many yards. And this is only 90 yards, where the other ones, well, you know, the other ones, that's 90 yards. Huh. What is this one? This one's 90 yards also. That don't make no sense. All right. It's too thick, but look at the color. Look at this color. Violetta Africana. Beautiful name. It really is one of the most gorgeous purples I've ever seen, because purple's a really hard color to dye, I'm assuming, because sometimes you get like this really flat purple that I see a lot of flat purples, but this is just really, really, really vibrant. I love it. I love it. And this, you know, the skein's as big as my head, so who doesn't like that? All right, well, I'll get into the rest of my acquisitions a little later. So that's my blanket for right now. I mean, it's coming along. It's coming along. I don't know if I necessarily love the, I don't know, the order I'm putting all of the yarns in, but it's so soft, and I'm really enjoying working on it. I really am. And again, I'm using the pattern for Christian's scarf. I'll put it in the down bar. It's on my Ravelry page as a work in progress. So if you want to hop on over to there, I'm GemmaDarling on Ravelry. And I did start a Ravelry group for the podcast. So maybe we'll be doing some stuff in there. I don't have anything planned right now, but we can try it. So maybe I'll do something this week. So after you watch this, hop on over and see if I've done anything. Otherwise, you can always talk to me on Instagram, GemmaDarlings with an S, and I will get back to you. I'll do my best to respond to everyone. Okay, so let's say goodbye to this for this week. The next color that's going into it, I think, is something that I already showed you, so we'll just leave that as a surprise for next week. But one more look at the cactus flower. I mean, Madelinetosh knows what she's doing. This is exquisite. So, maybe I'll finish that today. Okay, I am super close to an FO, which it's just exciting. It's just exciting. I mean, for some reason I've decided this fall is all going to be about the color amber and the color red, and usually I am a cranberry girl all the way. I like cranberry colors and magentas. So this yarn that I'm using for these is actually one of my favorite yarns, and I think it's discontinued, but I am almost done with my second leg warmer. Oh my! It looks a lot more even in person. All right, see, because I'm into the top rib on the second one. I know, I'm so excited. So I've done 2 rows, I've got 10 more, and then this is an FO, and I am so excited. Oh, they're way too big for me. So who knows if I'm going to wear them or not, but hey, next week I might just have on some leg warmers. Okay, being a little bit crazy today. It's so dreary outside. It is so disgusting. I mean, we were supposed to take baby Francesca over to the pumpkin patch tomorrow. My mother made her a pumpkin hat, and I don't think we're going to be able to go because it's raining, and it's so disappointing. You know, I want her to have pictures of going to all these places when she was little, and the weather's just really not cooperating. But maybe we'll go Sunday morning. You know? We'll just have to play that by ear. Okay, so that is almost an FO. Again, so excited. I didn't really work on much else this week. I started something, so I have a cast on. But I didn't work on my outline shawl. Again, it's a lot of counting. And when you have to put the project down every 5 seconds because the baby's doing this or the baby's doing that, you know, I want to pay attention to her. And so it's hard. When she's sleeping, I can work on it, but I've been working on some other things that I feel are more wintry. I unfortunately did not work on this either, but let's show it again because maybe I'll get to work on it a little bit this week. This is the Christian's scarf. It's the actual pattern that I'm using on Ravelry to make the blanket, but the scarf is knitting up gorgeous. It really is. It's very loose and stretchy. It's very, very soft, and So maybe I'll work on this a little this week because it's a nice simple knit. It's not hard. It's an easy pattern to follow. I'm starting to memorize it. And I really like to have some homemade holiday gifts for my family this year. So, you know, this might be something. This might be a good present. So get in that project bag. Okay. All right, and again, I did not work on my baby blanket because I just really don't like it. I don't like it. It's not the pattern I don't like. I think I don't like working with the acrylic yarn. So, I mean, it's cute yarn. It's not super bad, right? It's not great. That's okay. I just got it at Joann's. I don't know. I feel like I should have used a bigger needle. I mean, I used the needle that it called for, but it's a little bit dense for my taste. It's not as soft as I think it could be. So, I don't know what I've decided. I don't really like the cast on section right there because you cast into the loop on the chain row and it just looks really, I don't know. I don't particularly like it. So, I don't know. I have to decide what I'm doing with this. I may just, again, choose another scarf pattern and make a really cute baby blanket out of it. I don't know. So right now it's just, you know, sitting in my crafty bitch project bag and hoping I pick it up. Go back there, all the way in the back. All right. So those are my works in progress. I did manage to cast on something new that came out this week. There is a wonderful, wonderful pattern writer called Orange Knits. Let's see, I have her name written down, but Orange Knits on Etsy. Follow her. She's got the most adorable, I don't know, I think this is her kid, but may not be. Anyway, my daughter kind of had her way with this pattern, so it's a little bit wrinkled. Her name is Mara Catherine BRYNER, and she came out with the Ava Jean hat. It's so adorable. I literally cast on the minute it was available. I bought it. It's not a difficult pattern. The pattern's written really well, and you know, I'm really enjoying it. Look at how cute it looks. It's a twist. So again, it's called the Ava Jean hat, and I highly suggest that you cast one on because, I mean, even with the baby stopping me every couple seconds, it's knitting up super fast. I think I only worked on this for a couple hours the other day. And this is Hedgehog Fibres Teacup in the DK. And so, you know, I've got a couple inches done so far. It calls for 2 sizes of 16-inch circulars. I had them. Who knew? I mean, that was really lucky because I never have the needles I need. And we all have a huge stash of needles, and we never have the needles we need. But you cast on with a 4, you do the rib with a 4, and then you switch to a 6, and I had them. I was so excited. It's been a good week. Anyway, take another look. It's really adorable. I'm making this one for myself because I never make anything for myself, and I feel like then I can learn the pattern, make some mistakes, and it doesn't take that much yarn actually. So I should be able to get a hat for myself and my daughter out of this cake. Really, really hot this week. There we go. I love Teacup, but really nice. It was an excuse to use some DK. I think DK is the best weight. I love it. And when you're knitting it up, if you cake your yarn, the hat fits perfectly on the cake when you put it away. So there you go. It's the little things. So that I'm looking forward to getting, you know, making some real headway on this week. Because it's super little, it's portable, it's living in my Rebecca Minkoff dust bag. I buy her purses religiously at TJ Maxx. And they come with a dust bag, and I mean, look at the size. Perfect. There you go. You know, I don't have a lot of project bags. I really should buy some more because the ones on Etsy are absolutely exquisite. People have such imagination when they put together all of the materials and, you know, for holidays, and I really, 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 really enjoy them. I right now am on a yarn kick and I have to stop. I mean, I'm drowning in it. Literally. Audrey is drowning in it. And so, and then, you know, every time you want to start a new project, you go stash diving and you decide you don't like anything for that pattern, and then you have to buy more. I mean, it's just, I actually did stash dive my teacup for that hat, and I was really happy to use a skein that I have. So yeah, that is what I started this week. I haven't cast on the fringed pattern yet that I really wanted to cast on, which is the Stephen West shawl that Beata from Hedgehog Fibers did in a worsted weight, and it's humongous and fringy and luscious, and I'm totally going to copy her. But I'm having trouble deciding on the colors, so I've picked out a bunch of them already, but I love Hedgehog Fibers Oracle. It's my favorite colorway. I have never even knit with it, and it's my favorite colorway. It's summer. Oh, here it is. It's right here. But I have it in skinny singles, and I have it in sock yarn, and I need it in worsted, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I think yesterday I found it on a website. I'll put it below because I don't remember which one. It was websters.com or something. This is the colorway. And I mean, it's my favorite. And I wanted to use it for the shawl. So I have a dark pink going into it. I have either a green or a purple. And then I have this really, really speckly, it's an ivory that has a lot of different colors, speckles on it, and of all different fluorescent colors. And so it's going to be a blast. I cannot wait to start it. I think it's going to knit up rather quickly. I mean, his patterns, I've never knit one, so this is my maiden voyage, but I think the cast on is kind of haunting me because it's turning it this way, it's turning it 90 degrees, then knitting into this. So I'm going to try to do that this week and see how it goes. Maybe I'll have to do it with my mommy so that she can show me what I'm doing wrong or right. So hopefully I'll get that cast on this week because the yarn should come tomorrow. And I love cast-ons. I think we all do. I think that's the problem. Because we really should like FOs. You look at the pattern and you say, I want this because I want to use it and I want to wear it. But then something else catches your eye. I'm fickle like that. I'm totally fickle. Anyway, I think, well, let's go into my acquisitions and then we'll talk about something totally new, which you might have noticed in the background. Okay, so we already talked about all of my MADELINETOSH, but last week I was in the city and I was taking a class on something, and I was in PURL SOHO, and PURL SOHO is an incredible store. It's just a beautiful store. I remember when it was on Sullivan Street, it was really tiny, and I walked in there and I was like, your yarn is really expensive, but now, like, I want all of it. So this is what I did. I was early for the class, and oh, let me tell you. So I'm early for the class, and of course I'm looking through yarn, and who walks in? Kristen Ritter. Do you know who she is? Did you see Breaking Bad? Did you see Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23? She was in Gilmore Girls. I think she's Jessica Jones now in one of the Marvel comic TV shows. I love her. I didn't fangirl. I didn't go up to her because New Yorkers don't do that to each other. When you live in New York and you're famous, you live there so no one bothers you. And everyone recognizes you, but no one bothers you. So I just kind of glanced over and I was like, cool. Breaking Bad is pretty much the reason that I'm married, because I started watching it so I could talk to my husband about it, and that he and I would have something to talk about, because I didn't know him. And I remember following him on Twitter, and I was like, he really likes Breaking Bad. Let me see what this is about. And I was making wedding invitations for a friend, and I was just, it's a lot of work making wedding invitations. I love it, but it's a lot of work. And so I would binge watch seasons of things. So I just put it on, and I blew through like the whole thing up to, I think it was like 8 episodes to the finale. Like, I really, really did it right at the end. And I loved it. I mean, if you haven't watched Breaking Bad and you have a strong stomach because it's disgusting, watch it. It's great. It's Bryan Cranston. I mean, anything he's in, he's incredible. Anyway, so I'm in Pearl Soho and I see her and I'm fangirling, and then I was like, all right, well, my class starts in 5 minutes and I'm not going to have time to buy yarn after because I got to get to the bus to get back to the jurors. So I pulled a couple Madelinetosh tonals off the wall and just completely fell in love with them. So this is, and I bought this in 2 weights because I didn't know if I wanted to put this in. I may put this in my friend's shawl. This is incredible. So this is called Nassau Blue. It's really more of a really deep greenish turquoise. It's really beautiful. Madelinetosh. I bought it in worsted and DK. Options, people. Options. So there's those. And then I bought 2 of this color because I fell in love with this. This is my new favorite color. This is Madelinetosh, hi, in the Whiskey Barrel colorway. And these are worsted. I bought 2 worsted. I think I might be able to make a scarf out of that. I love, love, love Whiskey Barrel. I love it. I love it. So that's why I bought this one. Totally unskeined itself. I hate that. Anyway, deskeined, unskeined? I don't know. I bought it in the bulk to put in my blanket because I love it. And I have a sweaters quantity on order from Jimmy Bean's Wool because I'm starting my Rhinebeck sweater. And next week, I'm going to reveal what pattern it is. And if you want to start your Rhinebeck sweater with me, I think that'd be great because, again, I'm a beginner. It's going to take me a year if I ever finish it. So I figure we're making our hotel reservations soon for next year, and not going to let myself be disappointed like I was this year when we couldn't go. So I am going to make my sweater. I'm trying to get my mom to do the same pattern, but I don't think that she's going to. So that's okay. Knitting is really a commitment. When you pick a pattern, you commit to it. And some of them are really super intricate. So I don't expect anyone to just make something because I asked them to. I mean, my mom's a great knitter, but she's not super quick. Some of these people, it's like they just peel off knits and purls, and we're throwers, so but the stitches just take longer. Anyway, Whiskey Barrel, Rhinebeck sweater, coming soon. Anyway, it's a really beautiful, it's got lots of different, look at the tones in it. You know, it's got, it's really, really. Did I say it was beautiful? Yeah, I think I did. And then I have an acquisition that I didn't share last week, and I really meant to because I bought this on Etsy, and I just thought it looked beautiful in the pictures. And, you know, sometimes pictures are misleading. I'm not usually disappointed by anything I buy on Etsy. But this is by Alison Barnes' collection. She's from Canada, Edmonton, Alberta. And I don't even know what I'm going to do with this because it's gorgeous. Look at this. Look at all the colors. It's really, really the epitome of fall. Again, it's Alison Barnes. Oh, Sorry. She is on Etsy. Her stuff is beautiful. This is the softest wool I've ever felt in my life. Okay, maybe not in my life, but it's really soft. And I did buy 2 of these because I have a friend who loves all things orange, and I thought this might be a beautiful, beautiful shawl for her. So, and then she sent me this adorable little stitch marker. Stop moving. There we go. It's just a couple beads, but it's just the gesture, right? So that's right there. I love these. And they're both different. These with some whiskey barrel. Now that's a beautiful usable shawl. You know, sometimes we knit with these crazy colors and then you look at it at the end and you're like, clown shawl. But this is just a beautiful shawl that you could probably throw over an all black outfit and just look like $1,000,000. So I'm gonna have to find something for this gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. It's called Pumpkin Everything, and that's exactly what it is. Pumpkin Everything. All right, you go back there. All right, so I think that's it for acquisitions. Real fast before I get into my next segment, I want to talk about something that my mom made my daughter. And I'm going to have to put the pattern in the down bar because I didn't look it up before I started podcasting. But when I was pregnant, I had a really uncomfortable pregnancy. I mean, pregnancy is uncomfortable for everyone, but some people, they work out, they take it really, really well, and my body just didn't react too well. I wasn't sick, but I just didn't feel good. So I knit a lot. I watched Outlander. I mean, my family was wonderful. They really weighed on me hand and foot, and I mean, everything was always fine with the baby. I was a textbook pregnancy, but it's just my body just did not react well to it. So everything I asked my mom to make, she made. She's wonderful like that. So she bought this red yarn, and I have to find out where it's from. Again, I'll put it in the down bar because it's a gorgeous, gorgeous red yarn. Look at this. I mean, we all try to find these reds, and, you know, sometimes they're cranberry and sometimes they're tomatoey, and, you know, it's hard to see when you're ordering stuff online. This is one of the most beautiful red yarns I've ever seen, and it is the softest. It's softer than that. It's really, really beautiful. I wish she had made me a blanket out of it. Anyway, I asked her to make a blanket for my daughter, and she did, and it's a nice size blanket. I mean, it's huge. I probably could. I end up taking a nap under the baby blanket anyway because the baby has her blanket, and then the dog takes every other blanket, and then sometimes I look around, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put the other baby blanket that I have on me and try to get some shut-eye while everyone's sleeping. But, I mean, look at this. It's really, really, it's beautiful. Let's see if I can get it closer for you so you can see the pattern in it. I mean, it doesn't look like it was a difficult pattern, but she knitted it so loosely and beautifully, and it's just this squishalicious blanket for my little girl. I love it. Thanks, Mom. I love it. All right. If they have that yarn in a heavier weight, Mother, please buy it and make me a blanket. Thank you. All right. One more thing. I got another package from Voulin Vine because she sold at India Untangled on the Friday night before Rhinebeck, and I was really looking forward to going to that, but I didn't get to. That's okay. My daughter's vaccination schedule is much more important, so I had bought a skein of Pandora. If you remember last week, I showed you I scored a skein of Pandora. I like pinks, you know, in my yarns. I like things that are pretty loud. She likes muted colors. I mean, her colors are absolutely gorgeous. I think that pairing some of her muted colors with some of my loud colors would be exquisite. So I'm going to keep trying to score her yarn because it's really, really beautiful. But she had some extras from India Untangled, and she put them on her website the day after she got home. And I actually scored one of the exact same skeins. So This is Pandora on her Volca base, which is, I believe, a nylon, cashmere, and merino mix. And it's really, really beautiful. I bought it, I don't even know, oh, well, Volca is a weight, but I don't really, 435 yards. It's nice. So I have 2 of these now, and I'm going to pick a really beautiful lacy shawl to like work on a little here and a little there and a little there, and probably finish it by the time I'm 40, which is fine. That'll be a great 40th birthday present. I'm a couple years away from there, so I love it, and I'm happy that I got another one. So I feel like I have enough to make something. Like I'm not gonna have to put her yarn into something else where it won't shine. I'm going to put it into an object that's just made of her yarn. And maybe next year at Rhinebeck, I'll get to fangirl and I'll have some beautiful shawl on. So, because if you look on Ravelry, you saw she was on the homepage last week, and she made an exploration station, which is a Stephen West pattern. And go to her Instagram because it's hysterical. She met him. She completely fangirled. She showed her exploration station, which I'm sure he loved because it's exquisite. I mean, and I don't say that with a grain of salt, and I use that word all the time, but it's really beautiful. I mean, if she ever made them to sell them, I would buy it in a second. Here we go with the bangs. Okay. Trying not to touch them today. Okay. All right, so I talked a little bit about taking a class at Purl Soho last week, and ladies and gentlemen, meet Shirley. Shirley is my sewing machine. I'm going to call her Shirl because Shirley was my grandmother's name, and my grandfather used to say, Shirl, Shirl. So there are very few memories I have of him, but that is one of them, and I think I'm going to call my sewing machine Shirl because my grandmother was an incredible sewer. She was wonderful, and I've touched upon this in past podcasts that she made beautiful dresses for my mother. You know, in the 60s, my mother had these gorgeous cropped tunic dresses that, you know, they showed a lot of leg in the 60s. Good for them. So, but I remember from my childhood, you know, when it was Halloween, we would go and pick out our fabrics, we'd pick out our pattern, and she would take us to the fabric store, we'd pick out everything, and then I remember her, you know, taking the fabric, you know, snipping it and just ripping it and ripping it. And that's how you get the seam straight, because if you rip it, it lines it all up. Because sometimes when they're making it, things stretch, some things are stretched out of shape, and you have to have the grain going in the right direction when you make something, otherwise it's going to be all, I think, a lot of podcasters use the word wonky, and I really like it, so I'm totally going to say it. But I took a sewing class with a woman named Rachel at Purl Soho. It was $150 for 2 classes. Each class was 3 hours, so I'd say it was worth it. It is $150 without the materials. It's expensive, and but it was a wonderful class. She was an excellent teacher. She was a young woman. She was 26. She had been sewing most of her life, and she really did. She knew exactly what she was doing. So you could ask her a question, and she knew how to answer everything, and in a way that you would understand it as a beginner. So I made a bag. The first class, she really told us, you know, the background of a lot of stuff, how to use the machine. We watched her. We practiced on a little swatch, just sewing straight, because it's not as easy as it seems. And, you know, she told us how to use a zigzag stitch, use a regular stitch, rip things back, you know. She taught us how to do a lot of it. And then, so I made a little tote bag. It's really nothing impressive, but I made it. There's a, of course there is something hanging off it, but you know, it's usable and it's really, really good. And she taught us how to put lining in it. So this is my lining. Oh, that's upside down, the other side should be. So that's my lining. It's these little blue birds. And let me just turn it inside out so you can see. She taught us how to measure everything, how to fold in the seams so you don't see anything. We did a French stitch, which is sewing it on the right side, then sewing it on the wrong side, and then turning it inside out for the right side again. So you can see that my stitch is right there, going down it, and then, I mean, for a first attempt, I think I did fine. I'm not gonna like beat myself up about this not being perfect. I had to leave before we put the flat bottom on it because she was gonna teach us how to cut the edges off and make a flat bottom. The other ladies got to do it, and I'm jealous, but I couldn't miss my bus because they only come every 2 hours. So anyway, I put a pocket in it. See, there's a pocket. I'm just really proud of myself because something I really wanted to do for a long time, and I got it done. There's my pocket. So that's the inside. As I showed last week, I have all this fabric, and I even have more because I've been cleaning out my mother's basement, which has all of my stuff in it. And I'm talking all of my stuff. I lived down there. Well, I didn't live down there. I slept upstairs, but that was my woman cave. It was the original Gemma Darling Designs workshop. And I just have a lot of stuff. I love craft supplies. You know, other kids, they play with dolls. My grandmother got me a pottery wheel. So I have pictures of myself the day after a dance recital sitting in my kitchen throwing a pot. So that's what I like, and I've liked it since I was little, and I have a lot of stuff. Anyway, that's my bag, and I'm really proud of it. I mean, it's not perfect. It's got these crappy seams here, and it's not even straight, I don't think, but it functions. It holds things. So hopefully I'll be able to start making some project bags soon, here and there. I mean, I can knit when the baby's sleeping. I can't sew because it's just too loud. But my husband and I have a deal, and we're going to start taking turns. Because I always go upstairs with her. I don't feel like she should be on another floor of our house without me. So I go upstairs with her every night, and so he's going to give me a couple nights a week where I get to do stuff and he'll sit with her. And, you know, he's a wonderful, wonderful husband. Anything I ask him for, I tell him I need. He always makes sure to accommodate me so that I'm happy and he's happy, and it's a good partnership. So I'm looking down at my show notes. I don't know, I think that might be it. I don't have much more. So again, last weekend we missed Rhinebeck, and I'm really upset about it. It seemed amazing. It seems like all the podcasters went this year. Stephen West went. My local yarn shop owner, Karen Posniak, was there. And I was just looking through the pictures, and I mean, people came from Chile, they came from Canada, they came from London. I mean, people came from all over this year, and I'm really sorry I missed it. So again, we're planning for next year, and I hope you'll all go. I hope you're all going to have a Rhinebeck sweater, and you're going to have finished objects, and I'll get to meet you all. I hope I'm still podcasting by that time because, again, I don't complete that many objects. I hope I'm not boring you. I don't want you to feel like you're seeing the same projects week after week. I'm trying to knit them up so that I have something to show you. It's motivation for me as well. I really, really wanted to show you the baked chicken recipe this week, but I just haven't been able to go food shopping, so we haven't really been eating well this week either. Maybe next week I'll get to do that. Maybe I'll put it up as a Gemma Darling, snippet, or a Gemma Darling deliciousness. For those of you wondering, okay, well, let me finish this. So, since we didn't get to go to Rhinebeck, my mom and I decided to sign up for a town-wide garage sale. So we went through all our stuff. We found some really good stuff. My husband and I each lived in an apartment before we got married, and so we had 2 of everything. We had 2 hand mixers, we had 2 blenders, we had 2 sets of china, and then we got more china for our wedding, and then we got more utensils, and we got more this and that. And so we really had to decide that we were going to get rid of some of it before our house imploded. And I had a great time. I mean, the beginning of the day was a little bit dreary So I just had a big cape on, sat outside, knit. And in our town, if you pay $25, they put you on a map. So it's a town-wide garage sale. So people come from far and wide because they think they can hit 30 garage sales in one foul swoop. They're going to find what they're looking for. So I was able to make $250. And, you know, for a day sitting outside, that's a really good haul. I mean, that helps out, you know? So I was excited about that. Mind you, it's all in singles, so I have a huge stack. I have to take that to the bank. Maybe I'll do that right after this. But yeah, I was really excited. So I still feel awful we didn't get to go to Rhinebeck, but I would have spent $250 there, and instead I made $250. So, score. Now I forgot what I was going to talk about. Crap. Yeah, I really don't remember. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of the new podcasts that I'm watching. Every week I try to watch 1 or 2 new podcasts, and not necessarily new podcasts, but new to me. Because either, you know, I heard about it while watching Sue Stokes on Periscope, or I've just stumbled across someone on my Instagram, and there's a new podcast about 10 or 12 episodes in called the Hey Sister Podcast, and these two ladies just seem like the sweetest, sweetest set of sisters. And they knit beautifully, and they have these adorable babies, and they make all these things for their husbands or for their babies. And so, you know, I highly recommend it. They're selling yarn now, and they sold out their first update. So congratulations, ladies. That was really, really wonderful. I hope to score some soon. Your colorways are beautiful. So check that one out. That's on YouTube, the Hey Sister Podcast. And I think I'm saying it right. The Fawn Knits Podcast. I have to learn people's names because I don't know them. But it's a really calm, sweet podcast. She's just a sweet, sweet, beautiful girl. An incredible knitter. And she works on really, really great projects. So I highly suggest the Fawn Knits. Who else did I watch this week? I think her name is Vegan Jilly, and she does the knitting broomstick. Adorable. Adorable. And the stuff she makes is beautiful as well. And she's a really down-to-earth person to watch. You know, she makes fun of herself and pokes fun at this and that. And, you know, I just found it quite delightful. So that's what I've been hooked on this week. I mean, there are other ones I watch. I always watch the Brooklyn KNITFOLK podcast. I watch the Legacy Knits podcast. Of course, YARNGASM. Pin Feathers and Pearls, Candace, has my heart. I love her. I don't know if I've mentioned her before. I think she's adorable. And she's an incredible knitter. Like, really, really beautiful things she makes. Oh, and I started watching Kemper from Junk Yarn. Oh, I forget what her podcast is called. It might be the Junk Yarn podcast. I'll put it in the down bar. I've been watching the first episode of a lot of podcasts to see what they were like at the beginning, to see if I'm even in the realm of doing this correctly, and Kemper is hysterical. That'll segue right into, it's October. To me, October is not about pumpkin spice. It's about Harry Potter. And I never considered Harry Potter, you know, a scary book, but I guess it's got witches and goblins and wizards and all that stuff. And I do judge people by if they've read the book. I'm going to be completely honest. I judge people. It's probably not nice, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. I read the new book, I'd like to know how you guys feel about the new book. I didn't feel it was needed. Like, if I saw it as a play, maybe it would have been, you know, much more fun. I read the book in a couple hours. I usually like those books because they were so long. They were 700-800 pages, and it would take you a week or two, and you're flipping through it as fast as you can because you want to know what happens. And I know it's play form, so it was a lot shorter, and I think I read it in a couple hours. It was funny because I bought the book, because of course I have to have the book, and as I was turning the pages, it was waking the baby up. So I bought it online also, and I read it on my iPad, so I have two. Not a bad thing. But there is a town in Pennsylvania that's turning itself into Hogsmeade, and I'm going to try and put that in the down bar. I think that's going on. Is it this weekend? It might be this weekend, so maybe I shouldn't tell you, because then if you miss it, you'll be upset with me. But I want to try to do that next year if they do it again, because that's fantastic. And as I said, we're going to take Francesca to the pumpkin patch, so that should be fun. Oh, I really wish I remembered what I was going to say, but I guess that's all for this week. So again, cast on your Ava Jean hat, because what is cuter than this hat? What is cuter than that hat? So I hope you all have a wonderful week. I'm going to try to get you some recipes for next week. And maybe next week, because I just remembered what I wanted to talk about. Oh my God. Should I go into it? Okay. So some of you are probably wondering why this podcast is called Gemma Darling Daily when it's not a daily podcast. Well, first of all, it sounds adorable. Gemma Darling Daily. Second of all, on my website, GemmaDarling.wordpress.com, I call it Gemma Darling Daily because I'm going to try to get that website in order this week and start posting something every day. Either post something to Instagram, post a recipe, post a blog. You know, I'm just going to try and post something daily. Even if it's a tiny little thing or just a motivational quote, I'm going to try and post something daily. So please follow along on GemmaDarling.wordpress.com. Again, follow me on Instagram. I post quite readily on Instagram. Gemma Darlings with an S. But you know, a couple people wondered how I named my company, and Gemma Darling is it's a sweet little name. A lot of women in Great Britain have the actual name Gemma Darling, which I think that's a great name to have. When people call me Gemma, I love it. But Gemma has the word Mima in it. So the E-M-M-A, if you switch the letters around, it's M-E-M-A, which is how I spelled my grandmother's, you know, term of endearment. And the G in Gemma and the D in Darling are my initials backwards. D-G. So that's how I named my company. And it's really hard to name a company because so many people just take the names, they want you to buy them from them, or they're just taken. Like, there are so many great names that are just taken, and I don't even know if anyone ever acted upon them. But Gemma Darling is mine. So that was just a little tidbit about our history. I'm going to try and get some new jewelry in the Etsy store in the coming months, so look forward to that. And I may start to make some stitch markers. We'll see. I really have to get my workshop in order. So the next couple weeks, I think I'm going to do that. And then we are going to be a creating machine. So I hope you'll come along with me on this journey towards the holidays. And maybe you'll find something you like in my Etsy store. Maybe not. Anyway, I hope you'll come back next week for my podcasts. If you liked this in any way, please hit subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your grandma, and please comment. I love to hear from you guys, so please comment. Let me know what you think. Just, you know, respond to anything I've said, and I hope you have a really wonderful week. So I will see you next week. Bye.